Gotta go back to 𝔐𝔞𝔫𝔡, get it straight, Chad. Girl, you look good, want you vax that thing up. You's a handsome young brother, want you vax that thing up.
Nah, if you wanna get sticky and hot, go get the shot.
During the pandemic, my lifestyle drastically changed. My income came to a screeching halt. You have to understand, I'm a hustler. I'm a legit entrepreneur. I sell things. I come in contact with people all the time. I have to stay safe. I didn't have a choice but to trust the next guy. But if you live the type of lifestyle that I live, you out here in these streets and you hustling, an entrepreneur like me, why not do it safely? So I want everybody to take this seriously. Take a shot at staying healthy. Get the inside.
Good evening, and thanks for watching Truth News.
Today I've come to talk about our nation's efforts to address this vital issue to the health and the safety of all Americans. I'm here to discuss our strategy to prevent and protect the American people from a possible outbreak.
The President's made perfectly clear that our number one priority is, in the event of a pandemic, to save lives. The President has a plan to do just that.
First, we must detect outbreaks that occur anywhere in the world. Second, we must protect the American people by stockpiling vaccines and antiviral drugs, and improve our ability to rapidly produce new vaccines against a pandemic strain.
We thought it would be irresponsible not to take on the pandemic planning effort to make sure that whenever it is, under whatever president's watch, that as a nation we're better prepared, because it's the right thing to do. It can't be avoided.
It's unlike other natural disasters. Outbreaks can happen simultaneously in hundreds or even thousands of locations at the same time. And unlike storms or floods, which strike in an instant and then recede, an epidemic can continue spreading destruction in repeated waves that can last for a year or more. And one day, many lives could be needlessly lost because we failed to act today.
We have to put in place an infrastructure, not just here at home, but globally, that allows us to see it quickly, isolate it quickly, respond to it quickly. So that if and when a new strain of flu, like the Spanish flu, crops up, 5 years from now or a decade from now, we've made the investment. And we're further along to be able to catch it. It's needed to help us partner with other countries to prevent and deal with future outbreaks and threats before they become epidemics. It's not just insurance, it is knowing that down the road we're going to continue to have problems like this, particularly in a globalized world.
The new virus that came to our shores from a distant land called China.
There may and likely will come a time in which we have both an airborne disease,
Because it is airborne.
that is deadly.
The idea that we are now a few days away from a new administration set the stage for so many of the things that we are going to be dealing with over the coming years. I thought I would bring that perspective to the topic today, is the issue of pandemic preparedness. And if there's one message that I want to leave with you today, is that there is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, but also there will be a surprise outbreak.
Surprise outbreak.
We'll tell the next administration that there's no doubt in anyone's mind that they will be faced with the challenges that their predecessors were faced with.
My predecessor needed to. My predecessor. Oh, God, I miss him.
The invisible enemy, the new virus that came to our shores from a distant land called China. We will vanquish the virus. We will extinguish this plague.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all, no, not at all. It comes from China. That's why. It comes from China. I want to be accurate.
If Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
But this is not a pandemic.
To cover a range of topics of mutual interest, everything from COVID-19 and our efforts to address the global pandemic to regional security issues, which could include a range of topics.
And again, if you want to take a vaccine, that's your decision. I don't care what you do. But if I want to take hydrochloroquine and zinc, then I better be able to do it. Whatever you want to use is fine. But you guys, wake up. Like, we're being lied to so much. And I just am so frustrated. Like, as a doctor, it's my job to take care of my community. That's my job. You doctors that are watching this, and I see a lot of you right here, why are you not getting loud?
It take days. They tell us here it take 24 hours. You feel what I'm saying? They didn't swab me or test me or nothing to look what the paper say. Reason for visit, fever. Diagnosis, COVID-19. They didn't test me for the issue. He told me I had it, bro. He didn't test me for it. He told me I had it, bro.
You don't hear them talking about COVID. To be specific, COVID-19. That name gets further and further away from China as opposed to calling it the Chinese virus. Kung flu, the Chinese virus. Kung flu, the Chinese virus. Don't you understand, you dumb son of a bitch? Calling it Kung flu, the Chinese virus. Testing is a double-edged sword. They test and they test. People don't know what's going on. We got this, they got this. You do testing, you're gonna find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down.
If someone refuses in our facilities to be tested, they have to keep staying. So they won't be able to leave after 14. You either get your tests done and make sure you're cleared, or we will keep you in a facility longer. So I think most people will look at that and say, I'll take the test.
My name is 𝔐𝔞𝔫𝔡 and I'm a board-certified occupational therapy practitioner. And I'm here because I have experience on COVID units. I've worked on 3 COVID units. The people that were moved to the COVID unit didn't have COVID. They tested positive with the PCR test, but most of them were asymptomatic and only suffering from their pre-existing conditions. None of them had exacerbated symptoms. Most of them weren't sick other than what they were already dealing with. I also saw how some of the hospice patients that were moved to the COVID units that died of terminal illness were actually put on the COVID death list, which is complete fraud. I've seen more people pass away from the vaccine than I have on COVID.
Bill Gates helped usher in the digital revolution at Microsoft and has spent the decades since exploring and investing in innovative solutions to some of the world's toughest problems: global poverty, disease, and the coronavirus pandemic, which he spent nearly $2 billion on.
It was called polio, and it affected so many families in the United States where they were terrified, for good reason, to let their children go out and play, because we, at the time, didn't know where polio came from, and then we had to wait for the Salk and Sabin vaccine. Once those vaccines came out, people lined up in droves for those vaccines.
Truly normal until we have a vaccine that we've gotten out to basically the entire world. And so, you know, the best people at the foundation who are all about high volume vaccines, working with many manufacturers, not only on the safety and efficacy, but getting that billions of dose capacity.
That conversation comes up, but it doesn't change what we do on a day-to-day basis, luckily. I know my husband is not vaccinating people and putting a microchip in their arm because that technology doesn't even exist, and he's never uttered the words out of his mouth, so.
Bill, you look a little bit amused.
Well, you know, I hope it remains a humorous thing, that there aren't anything more that comes of that. It's not like we're going to back off or anything. Back off.
Perfect push for Queenslanders like the Premier to get the jab.
Oh, that's already, I didn't even feel it.
No, I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand to be mandatory, but I would do everything in my power. Just like I don't think masks have to be made patient, but our patience is wearing thin. And your refusal has cost all of us. This is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you.
The president is ordering nearly all federal workers and employees of contractors that do business with the federal government get vaccinated within 75 days.
Do it now, please.
Hope that President Biden will do three really important things. First is to mandate vaccinations on planes and trains, places that he has jurisdiction over. There are a lot of people who are still on the fence about getting vaccinated, and if they know that they have to be vaccinated in order to travel, to see friends and family, to do business travel, etc., that can really put them over the edge.
Doing these mammograms all day on people, she has said that the people that have gotten the vaccine, there's been a great incidence of their mammogram showing that there's this inflammation in the lymph nodes months and months after.
This kind of technology, as well as what a vaccine is designed to do in the body, what it can do, what it can't do, and the fact that this is extremely complex science that has been oversimplified in the media to basically take away our freedom of choice. Requirements and mandates are based on the faulty assumption that the vaccines in question prevent transmission of the pathogen, right? Does the vaccine for DTaP prevent transmission? No. Does the vaccine for flu prevent transmission? No. Do the vaccine for COVID prevent transmission? No. In fact, they were never designed to do that. In Barnstable, Massachusetts, the CDC tracked an outbreak of 469 cases of COVID. 74% occurred in fully vaccinated, and 4 out of 5 of those hospitalized were vaccinated. The complaint is with our health agencies and the CDC, who basically know better and are misleading the public. The CDC is blaming anti-vaxxers for the limitations of this vaccine design. I suggest that they be transparent and tell parents that although it is preventing severe disease in their children, it is not preventing transmission, because we have created a whole class of asymptomatic pertussis carriers who are increasing the disease. Now, the old DT, and so we are mandating that people get a vaccine that could actually make them more sick when they're exposed to the virus. In fact, this week, a paper came out, and what it showed is that with this Delta variant, when you're vaccinated, your body makes antibodies that are supposed to neutralize the virus, but they were supposed to neutralize the old variant. When they see this new variant, what they're doing is the antibodies are taking the virus and helping it infect the cells. All right, that science was just published this week. We need to be looking at the science, and we need our policy to reflect the science, and we also need it to reflect our rights. And so, as a PhD who knows the science, I'm in the category of the most hesitant group. Yes, PhDs are the most hesitant, followed by people who have less than a high school degree because they know what they don't know and they don't trust their government. And many people, the other group that is very hesitant are African Americans. 70% of African Americans have not taken this vaccine. Why? Because they don't trust their government. Do they have reason not to trust their government? Well, between the years of 1930 and 1970, the CDC conducted the Tuskegee experiment, where they took untreated males with syphilis and they refused to treat them. Even after antibiotics became available, they still did not treat them, and they did not tell them that they had syphilis. They told those people that they were there to secure their health, and they did not secure their health. They abused them. You say, well, that was in the past, although I don't think 1970 was that long ago. Well, in 2012, whistleblower William Thompson came forward and said, we published a study that said MMR does not cause autism, but we lied.
What must be what? And the last thing we need is the Neanderthal thinking that in the meantime, everything's fine, take off your mask, forget it. It still matters.